Don't you worry, don't you cry. I can promise it gets better in time. Keep your head up, keep your shine. Hold my hand up, it gets better in time.
Hi guys, I'm Ree. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, babe, hit the subscribe button because you're gonna want to stay. If you're returning, hey besties, it's so good to see you again. We're back with another meal prep, and as you can tell by today's title, we're getting into a Daniel fast friendly meal prep. It's the beginning of the new year. My church is corporate fasting, and I just felt like I really struggle when it comes to this, with the exception of fruits and vegetables. Like, I knew I didn't want to go into this fast with just fruits and vegetables, but I also didn't know what to make. Okay, and Chipotle is not getting any of my money this year because no. The Daniel fast, I've actually been having a lot of fun trying out and creating new recipes during this fast. Now, this video is just showing you the things that I'm eating while on this fast. And if you guys are currently doing the Daniel fast, or if you just adopt a vegan lifestyle, these are also vegan friendly recipes as well, so you can have at it. I'll keep it really brief. You guys already know my disclaimer, but you could pause here to read it if you weren't sure. I'm not a professional, not a nutritionist. I'm just giving you creative and fun meal inspiration to add to your meal plan. Healthy eating doesn't have to be boring. The food that you eat during fasting also doesn't have to be boring. You can have a lot of fun in the kitchen, and I just wanted to share what I have been currently eating over this last week. And yeah, without further ado, we're gonna jump right into this meal prep. So first up, we are going to be making some breakfast potatoes, and I feel like everybody has their own version of this. So this really might not be new to anybody, but I wanted to share it because it's been carrying me throughout this first week of fasting, and it's been getting the job done. So basically you just need some potatoes. I used 2 potatoes, and I opted to leave the skin on, a half of a red bell pepper, a quarter of an onion, some seasonings, and then avocado on top. Because I opted to keep the skin on, I had to give my potatoes a really good rinse. Like, I was scrubbing for a few moments. And I'm going to chop them or dice them into smallish pieces because I really want this to cook fast. I was really hungry when I was filming this. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and give them a really good dice. I also like to keep them smaller to reduce the amount of cook time because, you know, if you're hungry and you wanna eat, you wanna make sure that this goes as fast as possible. Then I'm going to transfer all of my potatoes into a bowl of cold water, and I did this a couple of times just to make sure that I could get rid of as much starch as possible. Then I'm going to go ahead and finally chop up my red bell pepper and my onion. I wish I had more onion, but this is all that I had in the fridge, so you know what, we're just going to do with what we got. Then it is time to drain the potatoes. I literally rinsed these potatoes like 4 or 5 times just until the water ran clear. And then I recently read a potato recipe where somebody said when they make their breakfast potatoes, they pop the raw potatoes in the microwave for a few moments before cooking to speed up the cooking time. So I did that off camera, and honestly, I can't tell if it really reduced significantly the amount of cook time, but in the end, they tasted good. Then in my cast iron skillet, I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of oil. You didn't see me add 2 tablespoons, but I had to add oil later on when I was frying the potatoes because I didn't have enough. So 2 tablespoons of oil altogether. And then I'm just going to put in my veggies plus some garlic, and I want to cook them until they're translucent. I like to add my seasonings directly to the oil and veggie mixture to toast the seasonings to get the most flavor out of them. This is just something I like to do, and I'm just going to season it really well, cook them up so that the spices are nice and fragrant, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my par microwaved potatoes, and then we're just going to cook them as you usually would. So basically just for cooking, once all of the seasonings and the vegetables were distributed throughout the potatoes, I would pop the lid on top and allow them to steam for a little bit, then come back, stir them, put the lid back on, making sure that the potatoes were nice and soft. And then towards the very end, I cranked up the heat and allowed the potatoes to crisp so that they had those nice golden brown bits and a little bit of crunch to them. Now you already know what to do. Pile your potatoes high on a cute little plate and top off with whatever topping you'd like. I use some fresh avocado, and the cool creaminess of the avocado paired super well with the warm crispy potatoes. Like honestly, 10 out of 10. Next, we are making something that's completely out of my comfort zone, I think I would say, but this is a curried chickpea stew, I guess we're gonna call it. And so basically I have some chopped green onions, half of a serrano pepper, some fresh cilantro, of course my chickpeas, and some yellow onion. And then I also chopped up one jalapeno thinly sliced. Oh, and we can't forget the ginger. I didn't have a grater, but we chopped it really finely. And then you're also going to need some coconut milk, which is unsweetened, some garlic. Fresh would be better, but I ain't have that. Your seasonings of choice, I'm using yellow curry powder, some paprika, a little bit of salt, extra virgin olive oil, red curry paste, red chili flakes, black pepper, and some pre-made brown rice, because y'all already know on this channel, I'm not making rice. I'm not doing it. So to a preheated skillet, I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of olive oil into the pan, and I'm going to add my serrano, jalapeno, and the yellow onion, and we're going to cook this until it is translucent. This took about maybe 2 to 3 minutes, didn't take very, very long, and we just want our vegetables to sweat. Then we're gonna add our aromatics, which are our fresh ginger, some green onion, and some garlic. We're gonna cook these until they become fragrant and soft as well. Now it's time to season, which you know is my favorite part. I use 2 tablespoons of the curry powder, 1 heaping tablespoon of paprika, and then we're gonna season with salt and pepper to taste and give the seasonings a little time to toast and enhance their flavors. Give it a good mix, and then we're going to follow up with our Thai curry paste. Now I think there's another kind of curry paste that you can use. I think it's like more yellow, but they didn't have that at my grocery store, so I used this red curry paste and it tasted fine, but it definitely changed the color a little bit. I was expecting something a little bit more light, but nonetheless the product was delicious. Time to add some moisture, so I'm gonna add an entire can of coconut milk. I don't know what I was expecting, but it definitely was not this. I don't cook with coconut milk often, so this was definitely like, I didn't know that it was gonna be cream on top and then water. You know what? It worked. So you're just gonna go ahead and break it up, melt that solid coconut cream into the sauce, and then we're gonna go ahead and allow it to simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes. We want the sauce to thicken up just a little bit before we continue adding in our ingredients. Okay, so the sauce is really fragrant and it's thickened up quite a bit. So now it's time to add our rinsed and drained chickpeas. I only used 1 can because I was only gonna eat this for about 3 days. But if you wanted to add 2 cans, you could totally do that. But this was just the perfect amount for me. And then we're gonna go ahead and allow this mixture to sit for 5 to 10 minutes on the stove, just until the chickpeas become warm. can serve this over whatever base you want. I use the microwavable brown rice, piled high my chickpea mixture and topped with some cilantro, a little bit of red pepper flakes, and of course a wedge of lime. This will be a staple in my house even when this fast is over. That's how good it was. It's time to make some pico de gallo, and you guys have seen me make this a million times on this channel, so there's not really too much to explain here. I'm just gonna do a lot of my produce prep. I'm gonna chop up 2 tomatoes. These are beefsteak tomatoes. I think these ones are the best ones to use. They just have the best flavor to me for pico. And I'm just gonna finally dice 2 of them, add them to a bowl, and then move on to chopping up some red onion and some cilantro, and then I'll pop back in to share my seasonings. Now that the most work is done, because the chopping really does take a little bit of time, but now we're just gonna add our seasonings. I'm dressing with an entire lime, some minced garlic, cumin, garlic powder, some salt to taste. I ran out of black pepper, so yeah, we need to restock on our seasonings immediately. And then I'm just gonna give it a really good mix, pop it into a glass meal prep container, and it stores up to 4 to 5 days in the fridge. It probably won't last that long. At least it doesn't last that long in my house. This next recipe is literally the fastest thing ever. It took me maybe 10 minutes to make this entire thing. I am making these, I almost said fajitas, not fajitas, a mushroom and pepper quesadilla without the cheese, obviously. So I'm just going to saute at a really, really high heat in a little bit of olive oil, some mushrooms and peppers, garlic, and then season with your seasonings of choice. I used onion powder, garlic powder, cumin, onion salt, and some red pepper flakes. I'm just going to saute these really, really high. If you have a wok, I feel like that would be more effective, but I don't have one of those, so this worked just fine. And I basically sauteed these at a really, really high heat for maybe like 5 minutes. You want to get this charred brown color on everything, essentially. Like, you'll think you'll burn it, but really it's not. You want it that fajita grilled style. And that's basically what you see here on the screen. We've got those charred brown edges, which is exactly what we want. Then I found some whole grain wraps that I could eat. They are Daniel Fast approved, and I'm gonna go ahead and take one and just toast it lightly in a little bit of olive oil on both sides before filling the inside of the tortilla with our mushroom and pepper mixture. Okay, so filming wise, this was a horrible experience because I just kept getting the stuff everywhere and I couldn't flip the tortilla or the quesadilla over the way I wanted to, but it's fine. We got it together. I also burned the other side of the tortilla because I couldn't flip it fast enough. But you know what? We love a little bit of color. It didn't taste bad, so, but be better than me and be able to flip it. I'm just pairing mine with my pre-made pico de gallo and a little bit of guacamole. And y'all, This quesadilla was so good. Like, I know that cheese makes a quesadilla, but honestly, I wasn't even missing it. Okay guys, so that is basically gonna conclude this week's meal prep video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far in the video, comment with a pink heart and tell me what your favorite recipe from this meal prep was. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also be sure to turn on your post notifications. That way you can be notified every time I drop a new video. And until next time, babes, I'll see you in my next.